E-visas are suspended. So you cannot apply for or travel on an e-visa. You have to apply for a paper visa through the consulate if you wish to travel, and if you don't have a valid entry visa or a business visa. So just for everyone's information, you cannot travel on an e-visa, you cannot apply for an e-visa.
There's one question posted by Mr. Kothari, where he's has some issues with the CKGS on certain documentation, on certain payment related issues. I have given my email ID, dcg.sf@mea.gov.in, which is also available on our website. You're welcome to send your detailed concerns, details of your issues, be it with CKGS, be it with the current service provider, BFS. You please send it to us. We'll take it up with the concerned authority, and every of your concern will be addressed. We'll come back, or VFS or these authorities will come back and ensure that your concerns, your queries are addressed, complaints are addressed. And there is also some comment that can you help with the cumbersome OCI process? We understand these are the requirements by MHA. If you look at it, consular processes. As a foreigner, if I apply for a visa of an X country, generally consular processes are very elaborate, because there are a lot of security issues built into this consular thing. So when you apply, they'll ask you probably all questions under the sun and to ask you to put things in forth. And there are sort of restrictions in terms of what you can upload, what you can't upload, the format of the file, the type of file, and all that. We understand it is little time taking, maybe little cumbersome, but we request you to show patience and abide by these rules, because these rules are not under our control, by those certain agencies back home ministry in India, and they have their own reasons to ask for such details and ensure that such processes are followed. Only thing we can advise is that we may have to live with these restrictions and conditions for the sake of the enormous benefit an OCI status would of course give for a visitor from here to India. OCI is not a permanent visa itself. OCI helps you to do away with your registration. OCI helps you to engage in different professions and different business back in India. And there are a lot of hosts of benefit that OCI card allows you to do. Maybe because of these elaborate set of benefit, the Home Ministry forces you to go through their website, go through their application process that asks a lot of questions, a lot of requirements. It's a one-time hurdle, one-time pain, but certainly it's worth going through it, worth getting an OCI card.
I would just like to respond to another question. I think it has been responded to earlier, but I will respond again. Tourist visas stand suspended. I would request all the participants, please visit the consulate's website, cgisf.gov.in. There is a pop-up there. There are FAQs there. There are instructions on how to apply for visa there. Instructions on who can travel and who cannot travel, who needs to apply for a visa, what are the documents required for a visa. Everything is given on our website. Can I please urge everyone to just visit our website once? A lot of questions will be answered there. I also wanted to address a question regarding renunciation. Someone saying our passport is cancelled. Do we still need to apply for renunciation? Now, there are two types of cancellations, and I would request Negiji and Pushpa to also join in later. One is a passport is cancelled when you are renewing a passport. So it'll have a cancelled stamp and you get a new passport. And then there is another cancellation which specifically will say that the passport is cancelled because the person has acquired foreign nationality. So if your passport has that stamp, that passport cancelled because you have acquired foreign nationality, you can attach a copy of that with your visa application. But if your passport simply says cancelled, then that will not be considered as renunciation, and you will have to go through the renunciation process. Can Negiji also add to this, and Pushpa if required?
As far as renunciation is concerned, actually they have to apply for their renunciation certificate. If they have an old passport or if they have a valid Indian passport. If they don't have a passport, then they'll have to submit some documents, as I said before, as proof of Indian origin, like birth certificates, school living certificates, or college certificates. And there's a checklist actually. When they apply, they can go through it. And if they have a passport which was already cancelled, definitely it should have a stamp saying that it was cancelled after acquiring US citizenship or foreign nationality. That is again considered as renunciation. So if it was only cancelled, that doesn't mean that it was cancelled or it was surrendered. It could be because they got another passport after that. So that is not accepted.
Basically, just to make it clear, citizenship is a very technical legal issue. As per Indian Citizenship Act, Indian citizenship rules and laws, once a person acquires a foreign nationality, he has to give up his Indian citizenship, as actually prescribed by Government of India. Renunciation is a process where actually we think that renouncing the passport, you are giving up your citizenship as well. It's a process elaborate, looks a bit cumbersome, but it's a requirement under our Citizenship Act. So you have to apply for the renunciation. Only with the renunciation certificate, you can apply for the OCI as well. But for the visa, as we stated earlier, apply for renunciation, take the fee receipt, and then send it to along with your visa application. We'll take it on record to proceed further on your visa application, emergency entry visa application. There is one interesting question. One Mr. Naidu has asked this question regarding an OCI application for those who are not citizens of United States, probably born elsewhere, migrated to US. Can they apply? Indian origin people, can they apply for OCI? I've just replied to his question in the chat window. Yes, they can apply, and you can write to our common inquiry email oci2.sf@mea.gov.in. We will respond with specific details. Yes, people born outside United States and have now become United States citizens have some link to their Indian origin, either to their parents or grandparents. They can apply for OCI, but they have to provide sufficient and necessary proofs for Indian origin, for their Indian origin as well.
No doubt the questions keep coming. Many have been addressed. A lot more information available on the website as well as Q&A. Overall, general advice is, read up all of the information that is published on the website. Ensure that when, you give plenty of time for any application so that, you get your required visa on time. And ensure that all of the supporting documents are uploaded at the same time, so that your application gets processed and there's no hold up on that. Certainly, I found this overall extremely useful. Want to really thank all of our team members here that participated. Our Consul General, our Deputy Consul General, Sumiti ji, and Ashok ji, and everyone in the team here. We will make every effort to ensure that any question that is not specifically addressed on the Q&A channel. With that, unless there are anything else the panel members want to address at this time, we should bring this to a closure. I think it has been very useful. Really, really appreciate all of your time on a Saturday morning. To all those who attended, I hope that you found this helpful. Basically, it's definitely an unusual time that we're all living through, but I think everybody's making best efforts to ensure that you have the support as and when you're planning to make a visit to India.
Raji, if I could just make some closing comments before Rajesh, completes it. I would just like to reiterate from the standpoint of visa. Please go to our website. Instructions are there. You have to visit indianvisaonline.gov.in and you have to apply for a paper visa. Once you fill in all the details, and please make sure that you fill in all the details. Make sure that you fill in your name correctly. You fill in your middle name also. A lot of people will either write their entire name and given name and leave out the surname, or they will write their first name and last name and leave out their middle name. Please make sure that the name is filled in as per your passport, that you fill in your mobile numbers and all other columns which are given in the form. Please make sure that you upload your photograph, and the photograph has to be in that proper format. I know a lot of people are wary about going to a particular professional shop and getting photographs clicked. And we have found a lot of photographs, people sitting on an armchair and, getting photographs clicked. I would urge you that please follow the guidelines for a photograph, which is 2x2 against a white background. Please upload the photograph. After you have done that, please sign the application and send it to the consulate. I would like to reiterate, visas are being dealt with directly by the consulate. So please send visa applications to the consulate. With the application, send your original passport, visa fees, and the documents which are given on our website. Please make sure that those documents are enclosed along with the application, and send it with a return shipping label. Sometimes, even after issuing visas, we are not able to send it because there's no return shipping label. So please make sure that you include a return shipping label with your application, and then send it to us. That's all I have to say. Just read the instructions carefully and before filling in the application, and then make sure that it's, because the sooner we get the application which is complete, the sooner we will be able to start processing it. Because the consulate also has its checks and its own processes that we have to follow. And I understand people's urgency, they wanting to travel. But if the document is incomplete, if the application is incomplete, then the consulate's hands get tied. That's all I would like to say. Rajesh?
Thank you, Madam. Raji, thank you very much to ICC for bringing all of us together. It's an enormous participation on the part of the audience, the viewers as well. And thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much bringing forth your concerns. We're able to reach out to en masse, which is very helpful for us as well as a service provider. That helps us as well, so that we can, bring down our own queries, our questions, concerns. And Raji, through your medium, I would like to once again request, as Madam stated, please go to our website. We update our information very regularly. Read those instructions carefully, and then ensure that your applications are in order, and ensure that you apply preferably well in advance to get the desired services. And I have given some of the questions were there. They were asking what is the general email query address. It's given on their website, but let me repeat it. For all your general queries, you can drop an email to OCI2, OCI numerical 2.sf@mea.gov.in. Let me repeat, OCI2.sf@mea.gov.in. We also have an emergency helpline. This is actually meant for those real emergency cases, not for the one calling up. We have had calls, unfortunately, asking us, where can I find the website? Where can I find this information? Taking such calls, unfortunately, compromises our time in attending to the real emergencies where family members are facing an extreme situation. Someone is held up at the airport. Very near and dear one is facing a difficult situation back home, maybe on a ventilator, or maybe faced with some unfortunate circumstances. We really want to reserve our emergency helpline for such cases. A person who attends this call, we have a person who are attending it beyond office hours and on the weekdays, weekends rather. Attending will make an effort to ensure that the real emergencies are addressed, not for the general queries. Welcome to reach out to us. We are welcome to reach out to ICC, Raj Desai ji, your community organizations, your community people, your professional establishments, groups there who are in touch with us on a regular basis. I mean, just to give one bird's eye view of last year, we issued more than 70,000 consular services. Despite the COVID, despite the restrictions, despite the issues in our normal functioning, we had issued 70,000 consular services last year. And people were expressing some doubts about COVID protocols, whether they have been followed, RT-PCR negative test is required or not required. Please be assured that these protocols are very strictly followed in India. They are very strictly observed. Please go by and live by those recommendations given by our health ministry, given by Air India authorities as well. I mean, look, just to give a picture of the enormity of the task that is at our end, under Vande Bharat mission, we facilitated travel of more than 50,000 from San Francisco, 50,000 travelers. And you look at the number of Indians who returned home, who traveled to India from different parts of the world, it crosses more than 5.3 million as on date. And this is the task which Government of India is faced with. But our people, our team, our authorities are making are doing an exemplary job, doing a great job. But there will be some hiccups. It requires a bit of patience on our side, and it also requires our cooperation that we follow and abide by the guidelines and the rules and the regulations of Government of India in the best interest of ourselves, in the best interest of our community and friends, and the best interest of all. Once again, Raj Desai ji, ICC, and all the participants, thank you very much for bringing us together, for providing this platform for a very frank exchange of views. I've given our email ID, the general inquiry email ID. If you have any further questions and if you have any further queries, please do write to us. We make a commitment of getting back to you within 24 hours. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rajesh ji. This has been very, very helpful. Thank you all to all the consulate staff members here, team members. I just cannot thank you enough, not only it being Saturday morning, but in the way you've addressed many of the questions. You've been very forthcoming. And I think, as has been repeated many times, everybody needs to just, use the information that's available online. Follow the guidelines, ensure that your applications are complete, your documentation is well supported. Then, you have the team here that's looking out for you, ensuring that your applications are processed in a timely manner. Plan in advance, stay safe. I think, as Rajesh very clearly mentioned, at ICC, we've remained close since last March, specifically to ensure that our community is safe. We've launched about 50 virtual events every week to engage the community, to ensure that we are playing our part to keep everybody safe. And I think we're not out of the woods yet, and therefore, following the rules, following the guidelines, whether you're traveling or you're here within the Bay Area, staying safe, keeping the social distance, wearing the mask, washing hands, regardless of whether or not you have the vaccines. I have both the shots personally, but I'm still basically complying by the rules, as one just is not sure, what the effectiveness is going to be, how this is going to pan out. It'll take probably a year or two for us to really get to know the real effect of these medications and these protective measures that are available to all of us. So with that, stay safe, enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you so much to all the consulate team members here.